Sorry.
I think it works. Hey, good Friday morning, everybody. My name is John Hardin. This is David White. We're with the Safety Department. This is your Friday morning safety meeting. Friday, January 20th. Thank you for the enthusiasm there. So we want to welcome everybody to the Friday morning safety meeting. Everybody that's joining us from all three terminals here, Pittston, Salt Lake City, anybody that's watching us on social media out there, LinkedIn, YouTube. Is that everybody?
ESPN, MTV.
ESPN2.
Do they still have MTV, John?
So, first of all, first thing here, this is great. We're starting to see more yellow vests in here. So, if you're a new associate, first week at Prime, we would love for you to stand up, welcome you to the family. Anybody that's the first week at any of the terminals out there, please stand up, be recognized. Good deal. We went through a stretch over the holidays where we didn't have too many folks coming in here, so out there with their families, but weather's getting a little bit better, with the exception of out west, up north. We've got some weather coming through Colorado, Nebraska, Minnesota. We're seeing a lot of issues going on, so we're going to talk a little bit about that here in a minute. So let's go out east first. Let's get Pittston Terminal up there. Rick, are you out there?
Hey, good morning. Got a couple of rowdy people here in-house.
Good morning. How's everything in Pittston?
Hey, everything's good. You know, we had a fantastic group this week in orientation, and a bunch of folks down at the pad getting their upgrade, getting new trucks, and yeah, it's going great.
Outstanding. Now, how's the weather situation out there with you? You guys got clean roads right now?
Clean roads. You know, it's just a little rain. They're expecting a little weather this weekend into Sunday, a little snow, but not too much. So, yeah, we'll be good.
All right, good deal.
Hey, Rick, I heard you're a Bills fan. Is that true?
I am a Bills fan. Yes, that is true.
You think they can pull it out this weekend?
You know, the wife and I have been talking. You know, there's only a couple of games left up there at Buffalo. We think about going up this weekend.
You are? Man, enjoy yourself if you go up there.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. We've been up there a couple times. It's an older stadium with it's a great time up there.
I'd send you my Bengals jersey, but I don't think it would make it there in time, and I don't think you'd wear it anyway. You'd probably burn it, knowing my luck. So.
Hey, we got another rowdy guy over here in house, and you wanted me to tell everybody go Dallas, but I don't understand what that means.
I hear you.
All right, so let's go out west. So we've kind of got a guest speaker today out west. Troy's not with us today, so we've got Aaron Ward out in the Salt Lake Terminal. Aaron, you out there?
Sure am. Good morning.
Good morning. Wow, got a big crowd. It sounds like.
We do. We've got a good crowd out here today.
Outstanding. So what's going on out west? How's the weather? How's everything going? Anything that we need to be updated on with the Salt Lake City terminal?
Well, I can tell you for sure we're definitely having winter out here this year. It seems like it snows every other day. It's not like years past where we've gotten off easy. So everyone needs to be safe when they're coming through here and slow down and make sure they're driving to their ability. If they're not comfortable in the weather, they need to contact their dispatcher and slow down and maybe even shut down.
That's all great advice. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that here in just a minute. So you know, Troy usually blesses us with a song in the morning, and you got something lined up for us, or?
I've got Brian here. He might get up and sing for you, but I'm not going to.
No, we don't want to hear Brian, so I think that we're good. So, well, good deal. How's the student class out there? We got some yellow vests up there, it looks like.
We do. Yeah, we've got a lot of yellow vests and new people coming in next week and people passing their tests out here. Just did a quick look this morning. We had 320 people come through that passed the test out here last year with a 98% pass rate. So good numbers.
And that's phenomenal. Great job out there. All right, so we've got a little bit of work to do. They were pretty enthusiastic this morning. So let's come back here to Springfield. Welcome. There we go. Got a Chiefs yell over there. So it's that time of year.
It is.
Tomorrow afternoon.
That's right, the big game. So welcome, everybody, and I'd like to give a big shout-out to all of our operators that are out there running down the highway that are making our jobs easier and delivering freight on time and picking it up on time and doing it safely. And thank you for what you do out there on the highway, and all those that are in here right now. Thank you too as well. Been kind of a different type of winter. Last week we had, or this past week we had temperatures in the 50s and 60s, even up through the Midwest here. And now all of a sudden we're back down into the freezer, it seems like, and snow up in Minnesota and Wisconsin, and struggling, but we do a pretty good job overall. We've had a good safety week going, and hopefully we continue that through the weekend, and that's what we're looking forward to. Just a couple reminders coming up, John. We got our Million Mile Dinner coming Monday, January 23rd. Doors open at 5:30 over here at the Oasis. If you're a Million Mile driver or been a Million Mile driver for a few years, you're more than welcome to come to that dinner, and hopefully you've responded to your fleet manager and you've gotten the invite. Love to have you. It's always a good time. We're going to inaugurate the new Million Mile drivers, get them up there on stage, those that show up, and hopefully everybody can be there. Love doing that. We've got Robert Lowe and Steve Woodkey up there giving away the plaques, and good times and good food and good drinks, and we'll have a good time celebrating together. And it's a great accomplishment. 7 years without a preventable accident to hit your 1,000,000 miles here, and it's tough.
It's incredible, and congratulations to all of you who have done it. If you have done it, we hope to see you out there again. Great event, great atmosphere. So come get the recognition you deserve.
And then February 13th, we got the 2+ million miles. So those drivers have earned 2 million or more. February 13th, same location, Oasis here in Springfield, 5:30, same time. Love to have everybody show up for that too as well. We got your 2 million or more, and once again, just celebrating them as well. That's what makes our company, no doubt. And it's nothing more pride for me walking down our hallways and seeing all these plaques, and over in the plaza, and we're running out of room. I know Pam's told us that. I don't know where to put them all, and we got to come up with some different ideas on that, so we can get everybody up there that has deserved a plaque, and it's important to us, and that's what makes this company run. No doubt, safe driving when we're not paying for those accidents, out of our bottom line, and that's what it is. And so we appreciate every one of you, and for all your new drivers, 7 years without a preventable accident, and you can get your 1,000,000 miles here at Prime, and it's a tough feat, no doubt. I know, John, I drove for about 4 years, and I hate to say this, I had 2 accidents. So I didn't even come close to that 1,000,000 miles myself. So it is rough. It's rough, but it's a heck of an accomplishment. We appreciate everybody that we have as our 1,000,000 mile drivers. So
absolutely. So real quick, at any time during the meeting today, this meeting is for you all. So if you have any questions, raise your hand. Keith and Bill will bring you a microphone. We'll be happy to answer any questions you have. The safety department, we're located up here by Success Leasing in the Z building on the main level. So if you have any questions at any time you're through the terminal, come ask us, come talk to us. Hopefully you're just coming to talk to us, to say hi, ask a question, not because you have to come see us. So, but we're up there. So anything you need, just please feel free to ask. So should we get into the inspections?
Let's do the inspections. So this past week we had 188 DOT inspections. So we're kind of back up to where we were before the holidays again. 188, 113 of those were clean, for a 60% clean rate. Not too bad. The way the inspections work here at Prime, they all get sent in, and we need you to all send your inspections in good, clean ones and also violations, because the ones with violations you got to sign off on and check your record out and then send them back to the state. If the state doesn't receive them, they send us nasty letters, and then we got to get a hold of you and say, where's that inspection at? So please send those in, and we'll review them, and we'll sign off and then get them sent back. But when they get sent in, Dennis Davis, our safety director, he looks at every one of them and goes through them. And then he hands them off to one of us safety supervisors, and we're the ones that sign them and look at them again, and also look at our driver's safety record as well. And this week, John, was my turn. So, yeah, I had a number, kind of the couple areas that stood out to me. Number one was seat belts. Make sure you wear your seatbelt properly. A lot of the number of inspections I saw, the arm was over the strap. You can't have it. You got to have the strap over the top of your chest. Couple of the inspections, officer even wrote too, I see the orange seatbelt, but it's underneath the driver's arm. So they're recognizing our color seatbelts as well. But you got to keep it above your chest, across your chest, keep it tight too as well. That's what they're looking for. Also, if you get pulled into the scale and the officer comes over to your truck, leave that seatbelt on until he or she sees that you have it on. Even recognize it. Say, hey, officer, I got my seatbelt on. They'll shake their heads, okay. Do you want me to take it off? You can ask them. And if they say yes and set your brakes, then that's fine. So you're all on the same page, because if you take it off before they get there, they're going to think you don't have it on. And that's a cheap one. You don't want to give that one up. So these clean inspections is what drives our safety score. So we got, we're doing good, and hopefully we'll continue that.
Hey, real quick, answer a question for me. So if I get inspected and I get a warning, I don't get a citation or anything, what does that mean?
It still counts on your CSA scores, and it counts on ours. So it's still a violation. If you get a ticket or not, it doesn't matter. Just a ticket's going to cost you money, obviously, dealing with the state, unless you hire an attorney, which will cost you even more money. So, citation or not, it's still a violation if there's something written on there. If it's clean, John, underneath the violations, there's nothing written, then that's where you get your money. You get your $100 for independent operators, owner ops, or company side, you get $25. So, we want those clean ones, no violations on there. But if there's warnings, it still goes against us and it hits our CSA scores.
Right. So this week alone, so that's free money, right? Just for your job. Yeah. So this week alone, we paid out $9,675. So give yourselves a hand for that.
All right.
For clean inspections.
That's a chunk of change, no doubt. So one other thing I wanted to bring up too is missing scales. We missed a little bit more than what we average per week on scales. And, many times we've got a lot of great technology in our trucks. There's no doubt. We got, all this different safety technology, and you got different routings you can use. Some of you use your own personal routing. We got Navigo in our system, which in our trucks that we'd rather use Navigo if you could do that. But ultimately, you need to know where scales are at all times. You need to be looking out for them. Some states, just stationary scales. Like here in Missouri, you got Joplin. You go up, you got the St. Clair scale heading up 44. I-70's got their permanent scales as well. But there's other states that use a lot of portables as well. They pour them in a dirt lot, like down in New Mexico. They'll put up a little sign that says, hey, weigh station, pull over. It's not going to get picked up on pre-pass or anything. So, or drive-wise, which some of you may have in your trucks as well. So that being said, make sure you are keeping your eyes scanned and looking for scales. If you want to know where the scales are on the permanent sites, right here, you need to get one of these motor carrier atlases. And this kind of takes you back to the beginning of trucking, because many years ago, when I drove back in the mid-90s, this is what I depended on. I didn't have any routing, didn't even have a cell phone. I used to have to look for payphones. Yeah, it was an old style truck, and right over there, this gentleman can, so you have to really, having one of these is important for trip planning. And if you look inside this, each state has their scales marked with a red dot, and that's what that means. So make sure you have a motor carrier atlas. We got them down here in the company store. Plus, it gives you a lot of good information throughout the whole atlas on trucking, weights, different states allowances, things like that. And it's good information to know and understand, especially if you're new into trucking. So have one of these. Obviously, we got pre-pass. Not every state's a subscriber to pre-pass or DriveWise, but still, you need to be able to be scanning for scales, because that's important to be able to get every one of them. You don't want to miss it, because you drive by a scale, that officer's going, whoop, got one, and you're already starting off on a violation going down the road. So get one of these motor carrier atlases. Who doesn't have one that needs one? There you go. You happen to be the closest right there. Thank you. Yep.
So, yeah,
there you go.
Before all this technology, and I know Dennis as well, whenever we were fleet managers, we had every fleet manager up there had an atlas on their desk, and we were on the phone, and that thing was open all the time. And we're talking to our drivers about trip planning, and just so important, so critical to be able to do that, because believe it or not, sometimes technology fails. So always a good fallback.
Also, to go with the atlas, making sure you read your bills. You just can't grab your bills from the customer and think everything's fine, jump in your truck and go. Those bills may be wrong. It's another human that's usually handing you the bills. Maybe they grabbed the wrong set of bills and they give you they give you the bills according to your Qualcomm. You're going here, so you take off. You don't look at your bills, and all of a sudden you get 100, 200 miles down the road, and your fleet manager's messages say, "Oop, we got a problem." So make sure you read your bills. Make sure the destination matches with what the communication's telling you on our OmniTrack system, and everything's jiving up. And if it's not, get a hold of your fleet manager. Say, hey, these bills are not right. Or you know, you're supposed to be picking up a non-hazmat load. No, so you got hazmat on your trailer. And it's like, I don't have the hazmat endorsement, or I do have the hazmat endorsement, but it's not matching up with what my OmniTrax is telling me. It's not supposed to be a non-haz load. You know, once again, get a hold of your fleet manager, because we got to go back and figure out what's going on. It's a lot better to do that before you leave the shipper than once you get away. So, and we've had those issues. We've had drivers go a few hundred miles or sometimes further out of route. We got to turn around and go back, and it just turns into a big pain. So back to the basics of trucking, Johnny.
Absolutely. So one other thing along the lines of, you know, winter weather safety, you know, I mentioned earlier, we've got some weather out west, you know, Colorado over to Minnesota up in the Great Lakes area, and some other places as well. But, you know, we're still getting phone calls. We're still dealing with accidents where we'll look at the accident, we'll look at a critical event that goes along with the accident, and we've got a driver that maybe has their cruise set. The roads are wet. You know, maybe there's no snow on there, but the temperature's hovering around 32, maybe a little bit lower. So please, just as a reminder, never run with your crews on under wet conditions, partially covered roads, anything like that. You know, we can't say that enough. Please make good decisions about, you know, watching for water trails, the parking lot that you're parked in. Make good decisions on if I should be out there running or not running. So nothing we haul is worth risking your safety or anyone else's safety around you. So please make that your number one focus. Communicate with your fleet manager. We'll communicate with our customers if it's not safe for you to be running. So
Awesome. Any questions or comments on the safety side? Because I think we're going to shift gears and ready for some different speakers besides us.
yeah,
I think they're getting ready for some new speakers, no doubt. Who do you want to bring up next?
So let's talk about logs first. We're going to bring up Susan and Brennon from our log department. And we're also going to bring up Derek Hausman, who's one of our reefer fleet managers.
Hey, by the way, Susan, tomorrow, 21 years here, Prime. So yes, good job. You can get my mic.
We need a couple of mics. All right. Susan, go ahead.
Okay. Well, we have been conducting a 30-day PC test on 3 company fleets. And beginning Monday, January 23rd, we're going to add 3 lease fleets to that test. What it will require is the drivers to call in and have their PC movements approved before they make them. And so far, the test that we've had on the 3 company fleets has been going pretty well. Really not a big impact on phone calls or anything. Wouldn't you agree, Brennan?
Yeah, I would agree. Probably about 5 or 6 calls at most within a 10-hour period. So it's nothing too crazy.
Right. And overnight, last night, the night coverage had 1 phone call requesting PC be turned on. So far, not a huge impact. So by adding the 3 lease fleets, we're going to see how that impacts phone calls. It's a good educational resource to make sure drivers are using PC correctly. We have a lot of PC misinformation out there, and this is a good way to reinforce the correct way to use PC to stay compliant.
Yeah, ultimately it is another layer of protection for all of you. Personal conveyance misuse has several potential consequences. We're talking financially, potentially for you. We're talking on your CSA score, for our prime CSA score. There are implications for deliveries as well if you're caught by DOT or even in-house misusing personal conveyance. Misuse does set you up for a disaster. So this is going to help add that extra layer of protection for all of you. Even if you're not participating in this test, if you have any questions or concerns about PC, we would encourage you to call in and have that discussion with your log person.
So we're 2 weeks into this test right now on the first 3 fleets. So what is the most common call that you're getting, or is there a most common call you're getting so far as wanting to use PC?
Most of the calls have actually been for the correct use of PC. We've had a few where the request has been for something that's not allowed, such as going to a dealership for repairs that is considered work-related. Moving for fuel or a washout, that has to be on the drive line. That's also work-related. But most of the requests have actually been compliant use.
So the emails that I'm receiving is if you get 5 phone calls during the day or at night, 4 are approved, and maybe one call wasn't, or maybe one call was just asking a general question, not even about it. So everything has been pretty smooth, it looks like so far. So we're hoping to continue that next week. And, you know, the big thing was the call volume. And so far we haven't seen that at all. But, you know, as they were mentioning, you know, this is just a layer of protection to help you, to help prime. And the implications of this can be pretty severe. So, you know, if I misuse PC today, you know, and nobody calls me, that's not the end of it. You know, 5 weeks from now, 5 months from now, they go back 6 months, right?
Mhm.
So we could go back and have to be audited 6 months ago. So, you know, if we say, well, what did you do 5 months ago? Then, you know, we could be on the hook for that. So this is just a layer of protection. We're doing real-time auditing. You know, kind of before we come in and take a log class, if somebody was having some issues, but this is real-time, on-the-spot coaching. And, you know, it's great. It's been great. We've been nothing but positive feedback. So.
Right. I would also recommend that if you are selecting PC, don't just put PC as your comment. The DOT wants you to explain why you're using it. You're moving for parking. The customer made you leave. Actually put why you're using PC. The DOT knows that it's PC. They don't want you to put that in your remarks.
I just wanted to add real quick. I'm the one or one of those folks running a lease fleet. It's time to mix it up with the lease folks, those wild folks. You know, we got to start mixing it up there and get a real test, right? So here's the deal. I was thinking about this myself, and when it relates to PC, there are so many questions, and there's so many ways when you're up against your clock, you're up against service. You know, we're up here beating our chest saying, this is what we sell. We've got to make sure that we're also doing it correctly. You know, even myself, I'm going to be taking this log class again. I've already had it before. It's a great refresher. I'm going to be getting back in there and mixing it up with the log folks again. Just for my own personal knowledge, I suggest you guys do it too. You know, just call your fleet manager. We can get it scheduled. We've got it. We offer it in every terminal. You know, we got it set up at different days at you know, usually the same time, but just call your fleet manager. We can get that refresher. It doesn't take long. It's a quick class in the afternoon, but it's very valuable.
Yeah, and just to tag on that, the log class is held Monday through Friday here in Springfield, 1:30 Central. It is a 2-hour course and covers everything you need to know about hours of service. We stream it out to Salt Lake City and Pittston as well at the same time. So no matter what terminal you're at, just feel free to attend. It's a good refresh.
All right, thank you. Great information. Does anybody have any questions here in Springfield? Keith, right here behind you here. Got a question right here.
My question is, you saying that now, you know, in reference to PC, is that we have to call in and get permission. So if we're the shipper, and so we run out of hours, and so before I move that truck, I have to call in and get permission just to go 3-4 miles down the road, because you know, sometimes at some point, you get to some of these shippers, they want you off the property immediately. Now we have people that use PC correctly, and we have some of us that misuse PC. So even if you took it from the ones that was misusing PC, you still have to implement it and get it back to them, because it goes to the fact that you may be at Tyson and they have to get off the property. So, you know, my question is that, you know, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, you know, I was a fleet manager, terminal manager. So my thing is that, you know, I have to call in at 3 o'clock just to go 10 miles down the road.
All right, so we understand that this does impact everyone who's misused PC, who has not. Ultimately, it is that extra layer of protection. And the point of the test is to see what kind of resources we would need in terms of more staff to handle the call volume. So like I mentioned earlier, these 3 fleets that we've had, call volume hasn't been anything crazy yet. And that's why we're adding these 3 additional lease fleets. It's going to give us an idea of what we need in order to handle that kind of call volume. But yes, anytime you need to use PC, give us a call, let us know. We do have 3 people covering overnight. So you should be able to get through on the phone. If you're having any trouble getting through on the phone, maybe there's something big going down on the safety or claims side of things, you can shoot a message into the log department, let us know why you need to use PC, and we'll get back to you on that. We can turn it back on for legal use. There's no problem with that.
And it is a quick step to turn it back on. I would just make sure you have your ignition on and that your unit's communicating, and it is a quick reset.
Okay, Any more? Okay, right over here.
Yeah, I got you talk about it being an extra layer of protection, and I appreciate that. You talk about how it can affect your CSA scores. I think one of the underlying issues and misuse of that is that a lot of our people don't know what a CSA score is or how it affects your career and how this can be so detrimental, and they just don't have the information, so it doesn't really have the impact when you say, oh, this affects your CSA score. They go, oh, well, it's a couple of points, but they don't know how much of an impact it really can have. And that information should probably be given to our new people as they're coming in.
That's a great point. And, you know, we might talk about that here and do a little bit longer of a segment on there than just giving you one answer. But I will briefly say just to everybody, this affects you. It affects Prime. It potentially affects the freight we get from our customers. So the customers look at our CSA scores. So it's not just internally here. It's not just the DOT. So yes, there could be very big implications for that. And this is one of the reasons why we're doing this. We want to see if this helps us, prevents us from getting these dirty inspections that affect our CSA score. So great question. So
The CSA points also could impact the amount of inspections that we have. It could cause you to get called in for an inspection more frequently. So that's one way
Right.
that the CSA impacts
So-
everyone.
let's do one more question. And after that, Susan and Brennan are going to stick around and they're going to answer any questions. We'll be sticking around as well. We can answer any questions that you have. So.
Okay, so on this calling in, I mean, we finished fueling and we got to use PC to go park in a parking spot. You got to call in to do that.
Mhm.
I mean, that can cause all kinds of backups and hassles and getting people really upset at you at the fuel lanes because you're sitting there waiting for permission to go park your truck.
Right, and I understand your point, and that's why we're starting small with the 3 company fleets. Now we moved on to adding the 3 lease fleets. Like I mentioned a couple times, call volume is small now. So this is going to give us an idea of if we were to expand the test further, what kind of resources we would need for that. But ultimately, yeah, if you need to call in and use PC for some reason, it's going to be a short conversation you would have, and we'd take care of it quickly. We have far too many drivers excessively misusing PC for several hours to deliver their loads, to go to fuel, to go to washouts, et cetera. That is impacting us company-wide, and that's the reason that this test is being implemented.
So,
You know, if a driver's caught, you know, using their PC to go deliver a load or something like that, then they should never have the PC option available ever again. But guys that are doing it correctly, I mean, we could be sitting on hold for 10 minutes waiting for somebody to pick up just to get permission to go park in a parking spot.
And I will say that we did add extra phone numbers under the hours of service on the Prime app in case you do run into that, where a number you're on hold for someone. We did provide extra numbers that you can call direct. It's under the hours of service on the Prime app.
I just wanted to add real quick, some of the issue here isn't that people are trying to misuse it. Some of the issue here is that folks don't realize they're misusing it. That's one of the obstacles, and we have to catch that too.
Yeah, and just to throw in some numbers here, between this time last year and this time this year, we've seen a 286% increase in failed inspections for personal conveyance misuse. That is astounding, and it's impacting us in several ways. So that's why this test is necessary.
okay. Thank you. Thank you for coming out. They're going to all be over here after the meeting. So any questions that you didn't get to ask at other terminals or anything, please feel free to ask, and we will be happy to answer those questions. And also send them in online if you're out there on social media listening, and Mitch or Jamie will get those questions to us, and we will make sure to answer them. So what do we got next, Dave?
That's some good information, John. That's interesting. So, yeah, growing and just getting better. That's what it's about. We need to always improve, especially in the safety side. So let's go with detail. We haven't had Terry up here in a long time, so it's great to have her back. Yeah, Terry Wood, our detail shop. She's going to give us an update of what's going on. I love that KC red right there. There you go.
Thank you. Well, yes, I'm Terry. I run the detail shop, and of course, that means we're the ones who clean the interior of the trucks. But I really wanted to get up here today because I feel like there's a lot of operators out there who don't understand or know about the other resources we offer. We do the accessory installation, so we're the ones who do the refrigerators, satellite systems, TVs, CBs, that kind of thing. But most people don't know about our interior body shop. Those guys are just awesome. They can fix almost anything. You've got screw holes, damage to your curtains, rips, snaps, seat cushions, armrests. They can fix it. I get operators every week going, I need a new seat. I'm like, no, let's save you some money. We can just fix that cushion or we can replace an armrest. Another thing I get lots of questions on that I don't feel like everybody knows we have is we have storage. It's short term out at the detail shop. It is upstairs. Sorry about that. And to answer your next question, no, we do not have an elevator, but it is free and available to you for 60 days while you're in between trucks. They are 3 feet by 3 feet by 4 feet. So they hold a lot. You can get fridges, microwaves, duffel bags, quite a bit of stuff in there. So I just want to make everybody aware of that. I think that's pretty much I've got for this.
Any questions for Terry about the detail shop? Pittston, Salt Lake, you guys too, man, jump in. Yeah, I think you're getting away easy. But good job. Yeah, you guys do such a good job. We never hear anything back. It's great to have you up here. Thank you for coming here this morning. Yeah, no problem. Give her a round of applause. There you go. All right, our next speaker coming up. We haven't had him in a while as well, so we're always so proud to have our vendors here. And Andy Bell is one of our vendors. He's with Carrier, and going to talk a little bit about the reefers this morning. So great to have you, Andy. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it. Morning, everybody. I basically just want to touch on some stuff that I hope is a little bit of a broken record, and then we'll get into a couple other things. But the broken record side of it is, please make sure if you're adding NHL to your truck, add it to the reefer unit as well. Okay, very, very important to make sure that we're getting the NHL and the reefer fuel as well. I know we run into several times throughout the year, and even on the tail end of winter time, where drivers forget to do that. If you're picking up a trailer down south in Florida and you're coming north, it's not going to have anti-gel in it. I promise you. You're going to have to put some in it. So just keep that in mind. The other real quick things I just wanted to touch on. I've had a couple of drivers asking me recently about defrost cycles, running pre-trips, that kind of stuff. So I just want to, don't be scared to run defrost. Okay, pushing that defrost button is not going to hurt the product inside the trailer. Okay. Eventually it's going to get to the point where it will not allow you to do any more defrost because it's going to be warm enough inside the box, but it's not going to do it. Okay? Or warm enough on the evaporator coil. I should not say inside the box. Major difference. So just like I said, running the defrost cycle, you can't harm anything. What I generally tell drivers, if you have water coming out of the 2 drain tubes on the front of the trailer, when it comes out of defrost cycle, press it again. Okay. We want to get them. What we're trying to do with the defrost cycle is not only get the ice off the evaporator coil inside there, I also want to get rid of the water in there. Okay. So that's the main thing with defrost cycles. The other thing that I want to touch on, the pre-trips, run pre-trips anytime you pick up a trailer. Does not matter if it has a load on that trailer or not. Okay. The pre-trip cycle usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes. But generally they will surface out and tell us if there's anything going on with it. Okay, so we want to catch that at the time that we're picking up or the time that we're dropping that trailer. Okay, you can do them daily. Same way, if you're doing a walk around on your truck to check tires and lights when you get up, roll down the road in the morning, just push push the pre-trip button and you can hop in the truck, go ahead and hold down the highway because we'll get record that it's going through it on telematics. Okay. And then the very last thing I want to touch on, we've had come across quite a handful of trailers recently that the IntelliSets have not been installed on, and kind of confuses drivers and road assist people and dispatchers as well. If the best way to test to see if the IntelliSets is installed on a trailer on the carrier unit, press the menu key, and your very first soft key under the display will be the closest one to your tractor. Should show IntelliSet. If that IntelliSet option does not show on that screen, and in that position, it does not have IntelliSets in it. Okay, there are a handful of trailers, a majority of the trailers actually now that I can send that over the air and install them. If it's one of the trailers that we can't, we can run you through one of the carrier shops and get them installed at that point. One of the prime shops can do them. Okay, that's all I've got unless you guys have some questions. Back here.
Just a quick question. I know for a long, long time we had our reefer unit set up so that the reefer unit would shut off when the doors were open when you're backing in. And I noticed we've moved away from that. Like almost every trailer that I've had in the last year continues to run when the doors are open.
Yeah, great question. Because we've kind of, not by design that we've gotten away from that. It's just that a lot of the customers have figured out how to override that door switch. So, and that's the majority of what it is the customers are going in and actually overriding the door switch on them, and they know how to do it, and they stay overridden the way that they're doing it. So some of them are turning them off. But yeah, guys, don't be scared to turn the reefer unit off. It's being loaded up. You can turn that power switch off. I guarantee it's not going to start up as long as that power switch is off. So, but the key to that is one thing I will remind you: do not forget to turn it back on after you level the dock. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've been noticing more and more trailers where if you go into the override, to actually turn the override off so that it will shut off properly.
Yeah.
That function isn't in there. And quite a few loads or more and more trailers that I've been seeing when you go in there, that function isn't even there to turn it on or off.
Okay, that's the first I've heard of that. So I'll check into that and find out. But that's a great thing to bring up. I appreciate you doing that, but I will check into it. So much for getting off easy today. That's good. You good, guys.
Prime. My name's Adam. Been driver 5 years. Thank you. First of all, your equipment is good. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
The only other thing that over the course of 5 years is when you get an alarm and maybe you call them road assist, say, oh, that's not really an issue. Just keep running. That alarm keeps going off and off, and your call come over and over, and you get 75 messages. Any way to turn that off so the drivers can have some rest in peace?
Yeah, no, and you're right. That's probably one of the biggest complaints that we get across road assist in general. Our stance on it though is, and this is from the top down, if there's an alarm on that trailer, there's something causing that problem. The term that I absolutely hate to hear is false alarm, because there is no such thing as a false alarm. Okay, that there's something causing that alarm. Now, whether it's a failure of the equipment or if there's something else going on, but there's something causing it. So we stand up and say, it's like the trailer needs to be fixed. That's ultimately why we won't override any alarms or shut them down for you. There's only the only two items that we can override is a low fuel warning shutdown, or low fuel shutdown actually, and then the actual door switch override. That's the only two alarms that I can override over the air. Everything else is going to continue to go on. So, and it's because there's something wrong with that equipment and it needs to go to the shop to get fixed. Okay, that's ultimately why they stand to that. Okay? All right. Anybody else have any questions?
It just generally, a lot of times the trailers themselves, when they do have the pre-trip, they fail. Actually, just for very basic situations, but they do run. But they'll continue to fail over and over again. Is there any way I can kind of just fix it myself, or do I have to actually call road assist?
Right. So if you're pre-trip, the thing about a pre-trip, remember, I call it a caution flag. Okay, so if something comes up on that caution flag, it's kind of like as everybody can terms, a false alarm. Okay, if it fails on pre-trip, doesn't necessarily mean the unit's not going to run right. It's just telling you that there's something going on in the system. It's kind of the same deal. So just get with road assist if you get one that fails. Say, hey, this is what it's alarming on. If everything is cooling and running and doing what it's supposed to, generally we will tell you go ahead and roll with it, and we'll get you into shop en route. So okay. All right. Any other questions?
Man, Andy, you earned your breakfast this morning, man. Good job. Yeah, thanks for coming up. Appreciate you. Andy will be around too after the meeting. If any of you have questions or more questions, thank you for being here. What do you got next, sir, John?
All right, we're going to bring Mr. Doug Tamm up. He's from our shop maintenance department here, and he's got some special guests to introduce you all to. So we'll introduce them.
Andy Bell, one of our on-site reps. Great group of guys here. Come on up here. You should keep applauding for these guys. All of these on-site reps, they work really, really hard for you guys. They're out there making phone calls, trying to find parts, really working through the network, to get your truck in and out of those shops, quicker. That way you don't have as much downtime and you can keep earning that money. So these guys, I'll let them introduce themselves, but this is I took over Road Assist about 3 months ago, and I've just been completely impressed with what these guys are able to do and just how much work they put in for us here at Prime. So.
My name is Van Gertner. I'm your on-site Peterbilt rep. I sit down with leasing. So if you ever need me, you can come down there and find me. Most everybody in Road Assist has my cell phone number that they'll give you if you need to reach out to me directly.
I'm Chad. I'm your international rep from Rush Truck Centers. I sit right next to Van down here next to leasing. And, you know, like you said, we work with your road assist advisor, your fleet manager, work with any repair facility out there just to try to eliminate your downtime. Nobody wants an unscheduled visit to the shop. So we try to keep those as quick and painless as possible.
My name is Philip Guller. I'm your in-house Thermal King rep, and I sit right next to all these guys as well upstairs by leasing. So if you got any questions about your APU, your bunk heater, or a TK reefer unit, and I know the door switch thing came up on if you do happen to have a Thermal King unit, ours is a little bit more in depth. We can't do it over the air, but you can get a hold of Road Assist or your fleet advisor and get a hold of me, and we'll walk you through that.
My name is Jeff Warr. I'm your on-site Freightliner rep. I also sit down by leasing, can be contacted through your Road Assist, phone calls, leasing, however you need to get hold of me. The one thing I want to say is getting out there in these shops, there's a lot of delays these days, and maybe because they can't get you in or parts or whatever. Don't hesitate to get a hold of Road Assist, get a hold of me or whatever. We all have, and we have contacts where we can get you into the shops quicker. We can get the parts, whatever we need. Even if our shop's telling you it's going to be a month or 2 months to get a part, get a hold of us. We can find it. I've never had one go that long. Some of them have been too long, but just don't hesitate to get a hold of us, get a hold of your Road Assist, whoever you need, because we're here for you. Want to introduce yourself again?
We already heard enough from you, Andy. But give these guys a round of applause again. I mean, they're doing a lot for you. Thank you, guys. Oh, we got a question. I'm sorry. I try to. Yeah, sorry about that. I try to.
As a CDL, thank you, Adam Worthwitz, 5 years as a CDL instructor. As a CDL instructor, one of the main things my students always ask me: what truck should I get? What truck should I get? What truck should I get? Jeff Warr, standing ovation for you, sir. You are awesome because I have Freightliners. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm sure all of you do a good job. In one sentence or less, how would you pitch our truck? Get our truck, get our truck. Our truck is the best. How would you pitch that to all the new students out here? Your stuff is the best. There you go.
You don't have extra money, right?
You know, you gotta love the ride of the Peterbilt, and I come along with the deal. So, you know, I've got your back if you're in my truck.
Van says his truck has the best ride, but actually it's my international. I've heard we're a Cadillac out there when you got to load them. We ride smooth, and we also have one of the largest repair networks in the country with our partnership with Love's. That brings us up to a little over 700 possible repair facilities across the country. So our repair and support network is huge.
Less downtime, keep you running.
Thank you, Doug, and thank you to our reps. Hey, I will personally say I've leaned on each and every one of these guys, and exactly as Jeff was mentioning, you know, you go to a shop or you call a shop or Road Assist calls a shop, that initial answer isn't probably the answer that these guys are going to get. So please don't hesitate to reach out to these guys. They do a great job in keeping you guys moving out there.
That was a great question, by the way. That was probably one of the better ones I've heard.
And they didn't expect it. That was
one
even
sentence,
better.
and you could tell they were wanting to talk for like 5 minutes, but nope, just one sentence. I like that. But no, we're very fortunate to have our vendors, and many of them, like these guys, work in house with us, and so we can get our equipment in and out quicker than many other carriers. It's one of the advantages of driving here, no doubt. So just some housekeeping notes I need to go over real quick. If you have the Prime mobile app, or if you need to download it, or you're having problems with it, right over here to my right is Richard. He's here to help you out with it. If you have questions, see Richard after the meeting. He's the guru on this mobile app, and it's a great asset to have, and you need to have it, no doubt, to be successful here. So also, too, we've had some renovation completed upstairs. So our new bunk rooms and showers are now open. So upstairs here in the Millennium Building, all the way down where flatbed, those of you who've been here for many years, if you remember where flatbed used to be, now it's the new bunk rooms and showers. Mark Piley gave me a little tour this morning. Beautiful facility up there, man. Those rooms are really nice, John. They got ceiling fans in them. They got a big screen TV and they got gaming ports. So if drivers want to play little games and they're in there too, download, whatever it may be, play some Xbox or what's the new thing, a PS5.
You're asking the wrong person. I have
me
no
too.
idea.
I know. All I know is my kids want that stuff. But yeah, it's neat bunk rooms up there. Beautiful facility, and the showers, big walk-in showers. Shower heads are really tall. There's a gentleman up there. He says he's 6'3". He didn't have any problems getting underneath the shower head. So that's nice and just beautiful. And so the old bunk rooms are going to be shut down. I think they are right now. They're going to start renovating them too as well and updating those. So great job and great shout out to Mark and his people for getting that all done. Yeah. Give him a round of applause, no doubt.
All right, so one more thing before we bring up Mr. Guthrie, Mr. Lowe here to talk. So if everybody notices, we've got a lot of red on up here, right? So every Friday, ourselves, our in-house associates, our vendors, we all wear red, which means remember everyone deployed. So right now we would like to recognize anybody who's ever been in the armed services. If you'd stand up, get a round of applause, we certainly appreciate that. Thank you all for your services.
Got one more thing to add too, John. I've been told the spa, they're going to be down here after the meeting for 5-minute chair massages for all of our drivers. So that means if you want a 5-minute chair massage, you're not a driver, so you don't get one, Johnny. But they do, the drivers do. So yeah, they'll be set up back here in the back. If you want a chair massage, 5 minutes, it's free. It's on the spa this morning. So special kudos out to them. And hey, they do a wonderful job. Yeah, give them a big round of applause. They'll be setting up here soon. So,
all right, who do we got next here?
Let's bring old Jim up. How's that?
Sounds good to me.
Go ahead, introduce.
All right, this is Jim Guthrie. He's our operations manager over the refrigerated side, and Jim, take it away.
Okay, thanks, John, and thanks, Dave, for those comments about those bunk rooms. I'm thinking maybe I need to go up there, take a break a little bit, get a nap in. I don't know. Get away for a few minutes, but those are really nice amenities, and we're really proud to have that finished. And then we'll get on this remodel of the next one too. So another good amenity for you in here. Hey, we've had a great meeting today. Lots of good questions, interactions, good information. I just want to emphasize from an operational perspective how important this personal conveyance is. We can be the safest carrier in the country, but if our CSA scores don't show it, then it really all for nothing. So we've got to collectively as a team here, get this conquered on the personal conveyance, and we're gonna make sure that there's plenty of support for everybody out there and continue that process. So we appreciate everybody understanding what's going on there and contributing to getting that right sized. I'm going to bring up Chad Walworth. He's a member of our driver advisory board, been here for how many years now?
7 years.
I was going to say 7, but I wasn't sure. 7 years. And Chad recently was invited to attend the Pilot Flying J Management Conference. And he's got some feedback for all of you, after going through that conference. Chad, go ahead. Tell us what you learned.
Well, first of all, how many of you have issues when you show up at a Pilot or Flying J? Same here. So I have been in conversations with their management for about a year, telling them about the things that they could improve on, the things that we appreciate that they do. And they invited me to go down and represent not only Prime drivers, but the trucking industry as a whole. And in true Prime fashion, guess who showed up 20 minutes early to that appointment? The other drivers did not. That's not saying anything bad about them, but Prime culture is if we're on time, we're late. So that was pretty interesting. I got a compliment from our sales rep and our customer service rep. So moving along, I was on a panel of drivers, and I just basically shared the pulse. I don't know if any of you remember a year ago, there was a survey put out on Facebook about some of the things that we would like to see them improve on. And so I took all that to Jason Nordine, their chief operating officer. All of their managers got to hear it straight from the drivers, hey guys, this is what we really want to see you do. The big thing I focused on was getting the bathrooms cleaned. How many of you like going to the bathroom where it's clean? We're kind of spoiled here because our bathrooms, Connie and all the other housekeeping staff do a fantastic job. So focused on the bathrooms, focused on the fuel pumps, because if you can't get fuel in your truck, we can't service our customers, can we? So that was a big deal. And then also just talking about overall cleanliness of the fuel islands and lack thereof of paper towels, squeegees, and various things. So that's what we did. We just beat them a little bit and told them where they're doing a good job as well.
That's great, Chad. What kind of feedback do they have about their future plans? Do they tell you what they were going, where they were going?
So they're doing a major renovation. You've probably already seen some of their sites being reconstructed or renovated. They've got a lot of money going into it. I forget the exact number. I wish Sam Messick was here because he could say, I think it's something around $3 billion or $2.5 billion they're pumping into their network.
Outstanding, outstanding. Anybody have questions for Chad? We're not going to let you off if someone has a question. Oh, yes, sir.
Hey, regarding Flying J, just specifically, one of my co-drivers actually, he used the kiosk outside to actually pump fuel, but he was a victim of credit card theft, basically, or at least a prime theft, basically. I'm just curious, are they doing anything to improve the theft monitoring systems at the pumps?
So you're talking about the credit card reader? Yeah, they're actually implementing a whole new system, and you know how COVID took a toll on everything. They're having issues getting the supplies. So some of them, the pumps, to keep the pumps going, they're just asking us either go inside or use the app. So they're aware of that and they're working on it. I don't have a timeline on that. I can probably get that information for you.
At the pilot Flying J, you say they are remodeling a lot of them, right? So cleaning restrooms, you know, to get in and out. So what about, you know, you walking up to the cashier and tell them, hey, you got guys that sit on the pump and take 30-minute breaks. And so you go in, you address the cashier about it. They go, well, you know, we can't say anything to you guys. And as far as the squeezy goes, you know, I mean, you can put them out there all day, but drivers going to still take them. So where are they at on that? Where are they on that?
I didn't raise that question. That's one I can send in and ask them. As far as the driver sitting on the pump, I don't know that there's really a good answer for that because that's something I brought up many times. The problem is, and it's not necessarily we as Prime, but we as the industry, we just got drivers out there who are being selfish and don't care.
Because I'm quite sure that we have Prime drivers that do it too. So Prime's not acceptable.
No, I didn't say we were. I said it's not mostly us. Usually what happens is the manager will go out and try to talk to the truck and get it moved. If not, they're reaching out to the company. There are some system that they've got in place. I just didn't get enough information to find out what their plan is. But I can promise you, you know, there's a few websites out there. I don't want to put them out here in the meeting, but they put those drivers on there and blast them. And I wouldn't want to be on one of those.
Well, and that's good feedback, and I think they're receptive to those kinds of comments, and Chad has a good connection now. We can certainly get that feedback back to them. Another question over here?
Yes, I've noticed several Flying J pilots turning into 1.9s. What is their connection with the company and how does that affect Prime drivers in our network?
So 1.9, I wish Sam was down here because he can answer it better than me, but 1.9 is, those are basically dealer locations. They're not pilot owned. They're just affiliated with Pilot.
Okay, and just as a question, when you were out there, I know this is something that went on the surveys. It was mentioned a lot on the surveys, and I was wondering if it was brought up, is the reserve parking. A lot of times, some sites have gotten very good about policing it. Other sites, for example, Murfreesboro, they just flat out refuse to go out and talk to drivers that are parked where they're not supposed to be.
So what's happening with that, because that was a conversation I actually had last year with them. What they're having is they either don't have the manpower to go out and enforce it, or they don't want to send them out because there are some drivers who, you know how they are, they carry weapons or whatnot. But the biggest issue is they're not getting any assistance from local law enforcement. And he's still got a question for you, or for me rather.
So is there any possibility that if they're not going to enforce it and they're not going to police it, they can stop charging for it?
I can raise that question. I know they were exploring options and there's never been a follow-up on that. So that's something I'll have to send in and ask them.
Okay, other questions? Okay. Well, Chad, we really appreciate you taking the time to go represent Prime and all of our drivers and all the industry and have those conversations. Always a productive exercise. So, thank you for doing that. Thank you for all you do. Appreciate it very much.
It was an honor to go.
Thank you. Okay, I'm done. I'm just gonna, emphasize again how important safety is. That's our highest calling every day, every mile. Please, make sure you're following all the processes to be safe out there. And we're never going to sacrifice service or excuse me, never going to sacrifice safety for service. So if you need to shut down because of the weather, you get tired, whatever it is, you just communicate. Communication's key for our customers. They understand what's going on. So proactive communication so we can communicate to them, safety first. Appreciate all you do. I'm going to bring up the man who started this company a little while ago, Robert Lowe, our CEO. Thank you all.
It was quite a little while. I'd like for you to define little. It was quite a little while ago, like 53 years. It's really good to have those bunk rooms completed up there. It's really nice. I think you're going to like them. Appreciate your feedback. If there are other improvements we need to make, let us know. We'll do it. I don't think people are going to be using the old bunk rooms because the one item that we came up short, in this post-COVID time, we're waiting on parts and waiting on, different things, even doors. So we didn't have any doors. We had to steal the doors off the old bunk room. So don't go over there and use the shower in the old bunk room because they don't have any doors on them. So it's not cool. You know what I'm saying? Don't use those. And forgive us for the old doors on the new bunk rooms, but we'll get the new ones in pretty soon. We're in a different economy. You all been around this business. It's a very cyclic kind of business. There are highs and there are lows. Right now, unfortunately, there's some uncertainty about where we are in the cycle, but we're kind of in a lull right now. And so we're having to do a lot of things. And it's the reason why, we emphasize safety and service so much, because those are really criteria for these shippers making decisions on where the freight goes. And we want to get it all right. And we want to fight and scratch and hold on to these volumes. And we also want to hold on to the progress we've made on rates. Our freight's paying pretty good. And there are a lot of, lesser lights out there and brokers and such that come in there and make offers, just crazy, ridiculous rate cutting offers to our shippers. And that traffic manager, he always got, some big guy he's reporting to that might be interested in the stock market or wherever. You know how it goes. They want to save money. Well, it's our job to convince them that while our price might be higher, our total cost, when you consider out of stock situations, when you consider the ebb and flow of the business cycle, when you consider the safety implications and all that entails, that we really are the low cost. And, that's a beautiful situation. If you can, get more, a little bit more for what you're doing, but still drive the shipper's costs down, that's a good thing. That's a good sales point. Why these CSA scores? Because they have people that are looking at them. And these CSA scores aren't, I hope the DOT doesn't send somebody out here to arrest me from the FBI or something, but, they're really more about compliance to rules than actual safety. We're very safe. We're very safe. But all these compliance issues, like with the logs and, that kind of thing. Damn. Maybe FBI is on the way, huh? So we have to be compliant. We have to comply with the regulations to keep those scores down, to keep that from being an excuse, not to utilize the great service and maybe not pay us the rates that we truly deserve that you all work so hard to create. Folks, you're doing a good job. we get through this. It's just, just like a minor lull in the action. And, as we get closer to spring, we got Valentine's Day coming and we got, we'll have some green shoots before long. It's all going to be good. I appreciate you because you make it good. I appreciate what you do. God bless you and please be safe.